All right, everyone, due to popular demand, I'm going to do a little video tutorial about how to use Trader Joe's flowers to do expensive looking floral arrangements at home. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. First thing I do is pour a glass of wine. This is my therapy. If you're not into wine, have something else on hand. Okay. So I like to go with like colors. I think they look a lot more expensive than some of those mixed bouquets that you would get at like the supermarket or somewhere else. So today I'm playing with like yellows and some green accents. So I've got a little bit of filler. I've got some yellow roses, green hydrangeas, a little bit of chamomile, and whatever the hell this is, yellow stick flowers. I'm not a florist. I don't know anything about flowers. I just know what I like. So the great thing about this is the most expensive bouquet of flowers on the table is only $7.99. So I think this bouquet in total is $25 or less. A dozen roses at Trader Joe's is only $7. So it's a really, really nice way to have something beautiful in your home without spending a lot of money. And we all have that little bougie side to us, right? I may have tree branches growing out of the cement in the driveway, but at least the flowers look expensive. So that's what we're doing here today. Okay, so first things first, what comes with cheap flowers is kind of wilted looking petals. So this is kind of what we're working with here. I don't know what a flower professional will tell you, but I just kind of pop those off, the ugly ones. And so what you're left with is actually a really gorgeous looking flower. I also like to just kind of pull the ends of these off. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a really fat base of your bouquet, which you do not want. So I organize everything. You kind of see, I set them all out. I kind of shake them out because I organize my bouquets in hand. So everything I'm doing is one-handed, and you don't want to have to untangle a bunch of flowers. So we start by just kind of untangling them and making sure they're really easy to grab. Now, temptation is, oh, we have flowers, let's cut them right away. Don't do that. Arrange them first and then cut them later, because I don't always know what vase I'm going to use. It depends on how big the bouquet ends up being, or how many bouquets I arrange out of, a specific amount of flowers. So don't cut them till the very, very end when you are cutting to your vase, okay? I bought way too many flowers this time. I went a little bit over the top. Shit happens. So I went with a big Mama Jamma vase. I think I got this at Target for like $12 or something like that. So I have just a tiny bit of water with some flower solution in there. I'm accident prone. Don't hate on me for that. So I'm gonna set that to the side so I have something to put the flowers in later. What I like to do is do the filler at the very end. So I arrange kind of the main flowers in the bouquet based on kind of what I think is beautiful. Then I put it in my vase, and what happens is the flowers kind of naturally fall out in your vase. So then you use your filler. In my case, it's gonna be the chamomile and whatever these things are. And we're gonna fill out the bouquet at the end. So we'll go ahead and do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start with a couple of roses and grab some of this nice little filler, and I'm just eyeballing it. There's not a true science to it. I'm just kind of looking to see what I like and what I think is aesthetically pleasing. And actually, while I'm looking at this, I'm realizing that I may want to incorporate this chamomile as I am working through the bouquet. So keep in mind that when you put this into a vase, you have a couple of options, right? So you can either have it look kind of higher at the top and cascade down, so you can turn that bouquet either way, or you can, kind of make this go like top down, right? So you know that your bouquet is only gonna face in one direction, and you want it to kind of be beautiful from just that one angle. So I tend to hold like a bouquet, and again, it's just kind of eyeballing it to see what's going to look gorgeous all together. So we just kind of work in a circle, right? So we've got some roses, we've got some of whatever the hell this filler is. I think it's called premium filler. I'm sure that's a scientific term. So yeah, and we're just gonna kind of eyeball this around and see what we end up with. and we will go from there. So I am going to speed this up a little bit because we don't want it to take all goddamn day, right? We all have shit to do. So we're gonna move right on through. And however you need to kind of move these flowers around, that's the best part. You don't need to add more, but you can see already this is kind of shaping up to be kind of a wildflower-esque looking bouquet. Little hydrangea in there. So we're just gonna work around this, okay? There we go. I don't know how everyone else is doing in quarantine, but it has been absolutely crazy over here. My kids are making me a crazy person. And so flower arranging has sort of become my self-care, which is the most obnoxious term I've ever heard. What is self-care exactly? My husband thinks it's allowing me to go to Target by myself, which is not self-care. It's shopping for his deodorant, which is not something that I thoroughly enjoy, but you know, that's what he thinks is self-care. So, all right, this is coming together really nicely. You can see just as a bouquet, how this is all kind of melding together. It's going to be interesting to get these roses around this hydrangea because they're so big and overpowering. We might use some of this chamomile to kind of break that up a little bit. You can see how that's sort of coming together pretty nicely. And then at the end, we're gonna add kind of these twigs and filler in, which is gonna pull everything together and make it super, super dramatic and amazing. So one of the mistakes I made early on was overstuffing a vase. I think it's tempting to do. Maybe you don't have a lot of vase options. Oh, shoot. Also, don't do that. No, okay. Is to overstuff a vase. I was overbuying way too many flowers and trying to shove them all in. But what you have to realize is, you know, the more narrow the vase, the flatter your flower stand. So when you're looking at your bouquet head on, if you have too much stuffed in a vase, it's just gonna look like this and you can only see this part of the bouquet, which sucks. So I like a wider vase, so these kind of all fall out and you can see a bit more of the bouquet, which is my preference. So I am going to stagger this hydrangea just a bit and make it a bit lower. So when I'm looking at my bouquet head on, I kind of have this nice pop here and also a bit of yellow on either side because I have OCD and I like symmetry and I make no excuses for that. So here we go. So I'm gonna do a little bit of the yellow here and some of the chamomile kind of down at the bottom. So we've got a nice full bouquet right now. And what I want to do before I put it in my vase is just kind of pull some of these top flowers up a little bit higher because I am doing a bit more of kind of a head-on look. I want to look at my bouquet here. I know I want the greenery to be on either side and kind of front and center. So I want these top roses and these side roses to stick out a little bit for some drama, knowing that I'm gonna put some of these tall sprigs in at the very end and kind of give it some height. So that is kind of what the goal is for this. Okay, I think that's looking pretty well at this point. We know we're gonna look here. Okay, so I don't excel at math, but here's what we're gonna do. You wanna measure how high your vase is based on your lowest flower, right? So my lowest flower is about here. So that's where we're gonna cut our flowers, all right? So the old saying is true, you do want to cut your flowers at an angle, and I'm realizing I have forgotten scissors. Can you grab scissors? I'm employing my son, who is my scissor grabber and my wine pourer. Teach him young, everyone. All right, so here we go. we're just gonna start snipping these flowers at an angle at the same level, right? Because we already have arranged the bouquet at the height that we know we want. And then we save this filler at the end because things are gonna fall a little bit weird. You may not like exactly where it ends up. So you then have the flexibility to go back in and move some things around a little bit. If you have wild OCD like me, you'll do that every day. It's a fun ritual you do in the morning when you walk by your bouquet and you think, what was I thinking? I didn't do that right. It doesn't look good there. And move it around. You know, it gives you something to do when you're locked in your house. All right, we are just going to cut the absolute crap out of these flowers. Here we go. Like I said earlier, I already put a little bit of flower solution into the base, so I don't have to go back and try and dump it in later. Okay, here we go. Here's what I'm saying about the fall. These things are going to sort of open up just a bit, and then you can move some of these more dramatic flowers around. This actually didn't turn out too bad for the first little settle. Okay, now I need to figure out what on earth I'm going to do with these. So these I'm a little bit less concerned about drinking water. It's just a filler, it's really thick, but what we can do is provide just a bit of drama and make these bouquets look that much more profesh by adding in some of this kind of dramatic filler, okay? And you know, you can find if there's a gap maybe in your bouquet that you need to fill, or when you add it to your vase, it kind of like laid in a wonky way. This is a really great way to kind of balance that out. Feel free to trim these down just a bit so you don't take up too much space at the base of your bouquet. You don't want this to take up so much room that it messes up your flowers. So this is kind of the final step, everyone. It's not, there's no exact science to it, but it's just kind of what you like and what you're feeling and what your mood is. But it's very, very easy to have expensive looking bouquets in your house all the time. Like I said, 20 bucks, 25 bucks, sometimes less. You can find some things in a clearance. And I feel strongly about kind of working things in light colors with a couple of accents. That's sort of the secret to some of the bouquets that I do. Now, I'm gonna take some of this chamomile and just kind of spread it around. So even though some of these flowers, like there's a lot of roses really close together, I can just pull in some of this chamomile. And that is about it. Here we go. Now we have this very gorgeous yellow bouquet. If we've got too many clusters, we can just quickly rearrange for drama. There we go. 25 bucks, everyone. Nice yellow bouquet. So hopefully that is helpful to some of you and you enjoyed. Sorry about the profanity. Cheers, everyone. Have a glass of wine. Good luck in quarantine. Hopefully 2022 is our year. Have a good one.